The resurrection of Jesus Christ changed the lives of people who changed the world. And so you see, Easter's the answer. Easter's the answer to the 3 F's on the human report card. We're going to look at them. There are failures, futility, and finality. Failure is our mistakes. Futility is the way I live my life. Does it have meaning and purpose? And finality is me dealing with my end, with my grave. Now there are 10 in the 10th chapter of John, Jesus uses this image of the sheep and the sheep gate. When Pastor Dave and I go to Israel in 2012, we're going to stop at a place like this, and we're going to talk about what Jesus meant when he was talking about the sheep gate. It's really, if we were in Texas, they'd just call it a sheep corral. And it's made out of stones, and across the top are like bougainvillea bushes. It's the ancient version of the concertina wire, and it was to protect the sheep from wolves. And if you'll notice in the middle, there's a doorway. And now what the shepherd does is the shepherd positions himself right across the doorway, so nothing comes in, nothing goes out unless it meets his approval. So let's look together, if we can, at the 3 F's on the human report card. First, failures. How many people have ever made a mistake? You don't really have to raise your hand because we know you do anyway, because the rest of us do. Verse 8, all who came before me were thieves and robbers. The sheep did not listen to them. What kind of thieves and robbers have attacked your life over the years? I know for me, it was wasting a lot of my life when I was a young adult studying the occult. I don't recommend it. It's a dead end. You don't want to go there. And to some extent, I've wasted some time in my life, and I regret that. For others of us, it's wrong choices that we've made and the results of that. For others of us, maybe we need to turn to God because our marriage is failing or our relationship with our children needs to be worked on. Pride and stubbornness can cause a lot of sad things to go on in our lives. There was a lady who recently died in Austin, Texas. Her house was on fire, and a smart thing, she saw the smoke and she went running out. That was good. And she stopped there on the curb for a minute, and then she thought, that doesn't look so bad. And she went running back in the house to call 911. As she got to the telephone rang. It was her boyfriend. He wanted her to tell him what was happening. And she succumbed to smoke inhalation at that place and died. How often do we allow things to happen in our lives that are like smoke and fire, and there's a flurry of activity around us, and it causes us to forget what's really important in our lives? We can be so engulfed by things and by demands when we need to be spending more time with our husband or our wife or our children. We know we should change our diet or lose a few pounds. I go to the doctor now, and he doesn't tell me that I'm too fat. He just doesn't say anything, and it drives me crazy. Because he should. But he knows it's going to work better if it does it with a little psychology. So that's what's happening. So we know we should lose a few pounds or stop drinking or stop smoking. We knew that, and we know that, but we just don't do that. So here we stand. Business as usual. Eventually it's too late. Our children are grown. Our marriages are strained. Our bodies are beyond repair. We smell the smoke of failure, but the choice eludes us. We need to turn to the one who has life for forgiveness and a new beginning. The second F on the human report card is this: futility. It's about finding a life that's really meaningful and fulfilling. Groundhog Day is a movie about a self-centered, ambitious, egomaniac TV weather man by the name of Bill Murray is the actor. He's humbled when he all of a sudden has to relive the same day over and over again. The alarm clock goes off at 6 a.m. And here's what he says. Do you get up day after day? It's the same day, the same place, doing the same things, and you don't make any difference? We have, all of us, an inner need to know that our lives are meaningful, that they're worth something to somebody. In John 10:10, Jesus says, I have come that you might have life. But then he adds something, remember? He said, life to the full, or abundant life. That's the kind of life that makes a difference. That's the kind of life that's fulfilling. We can only get it from him. The good news today, the good news of Easter, is this wonderful plan of life is available to us. God has already chosen you for purposes that you can't even dream or possible. The Old Testament book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11 says, I have God speaking to you and me, and he says, I have a plan for you for a future and a hope. You have a special destiny under God. And that destiny is only discovered when we go to the one who says, I am the doorway of the sheep. Well, Murray in the movie Groundhog Day tried at first to just focus on his needs, his desires, things that made him happy. And they all made him miserable. Then he encountered an old man who was homeless. And he helped the old man to feed him, offer him food, and to give him a handout. And when the old man died, he just wept